Dennis Young here, Primitive Substance Channel. Another great guest, Willie Nile from in Greenwich Village, New York, and fantastic career over 40 years. And you're still playing and doing it. So, Willie, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me, Dennis. Much appreciated, brother.
Oh, of course. So let's go back to your early days of guitar. I mean, you've written so many songs. How did you get interested in writing music and playing guitar?
It was a very musical family I grew up in. My grandfather was a orchestra leader in vaudeville for 30 years.
Oh,
I
wow.
remember seeing him as a very young child play the piano. He was a great piano player. And Bojangles Robinson used to send him Christmas cards every year.
Oh,
And yeah, that's just fascinating aside. Anyway, there was always music in the house. My brothers played rock and roll records, so the radio was on when I was a
yeah.
kid. And I took classical piano lessons starting at the age of 8.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and I got bored when I was in high school, partying, chasing girls, the usual.
Yeah.
So I stopped taking lessons. And when it came time to go to the university, I went to a college in the first year in north of Canton, Ohio, middle of nowhere.
Hmm.
And I had been writing poetry in high school, and my roommate had a guitar and
Oh,
he taught me how to play the guitar. There's nothing else to do. So then I started writing nothing but songs. And that
that's
way,
all. That's all it took was a spark like that, right? To just,
you never know where the road will take you. I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
Now, your first record goes all the way back to 1980. So, and then
yeah.
the interesting thing is you toured with the Who, right?
Oh, yeah. Boy, was that, you have no idea how much fun that was.
That must have been incredible.
It was incredible. Night after night, 1980 record comes out, gets a lot of attention, tons of press, a lot of hype.
Hmm.
Next big thing kind of nonsense. And I had heard from the record company that Pete Townsend was a fan of the record, and I just thought, okay, I didn't believe it. And so the tour we toured across the country, my band and I,
Oh my gosh.
first time ever played across the country. No, just my band playing clubs, small theaters. We get to L.A. the last show of the tour at the Roxy, and
Hmm.
it was packed. Freddie Mercury came out, Graham Parker, and
Oh my gosh.
people wanted to see the new Hot Shot, and from New York,
Hmm.
and Bill Curbishley, the Who's manager, was there. He came backstage, loved the show, and invited me to tour. So we toured all across the rest of the U.S. It was,
Hmm.
can you imagine, night after night?
No, I can't imagine that with the Who.
Yeah,
Man.
it was great.
And
It
that's when
was so
that's when
great.
they were still, the 1980 Who, they were really
They're still great. Actually,
they are.
I opened up for the Who in 2022 in Woodstock. They did a show.
Oh,
I've been friends with Pete and Roger all these years. We've stayed friends. And Bill Curbishley, their manager, great guy. And I got invited to open a show at Woodstock for them. So it was like really full circle in a cool way. But
yeah.
it was Kenny Jones's first tour with them after Keith Moon died, and we had the greatest time. I mean, you can imagine
I can't. It's
four young
just
four young kids traveling across the country, opening up for the Who. Wow,
that you can't get bigger than that. I mean, geez.
it was so much fun. Yeah, yeah,
That must have been incredible. And then, so then you did another record after that, right? Golden Down.
yeah, yeah. I made 1980, the first record, Willie Nile. The second one, Golden Down, in 1981. And 82, I walked away from the record business when
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. What happened?
uh, you know, when it became more about business than about music. They
Mm,
were killing my buzz. Like I had problems with a lawyer,
mm,
manager, and uh, it was messy. And
mm.
I just thought I told my wife at the time, I said, they're killing my buzz. Let's get out of here. Walked away, moved back,
Wow.
moved back to Buffalo and went to hell with this. Because I love music and I didn't want them to spoil it for me. And,
Yeah.
you know, not the smartest move to make with all the press that I gotten worldwide back then. But in retrospect, you know, I moved back to Buffalo. And it was another 10 years before I put a record out on Columbia. Because I got, long story short, I signed to Columbia in 88.
Mm,
And during those years, I was always writing, and I think I grew as a writer, you know,
right.
and I mean, how to become famous 80, 81. I never cared about being famous, but if I became rich and all that, I could be dead by now.
Mm,
So I'm in good spirits. I'm having more fun than ever. Still doing it.
I
And
know.
we just did two shows over the weekend, Friday in Beacon and Saturday at the Vogue. We sold out the Vogel in
Wow.
Mount Basie, and it was a great, great night. So I got a great band. Johnny Paisano on bass, Jimmy Bones on guitar, John Weber on drums. Great band. So we have a great time when we play. They're feel good shows. So
That is fantastic. You're
I'm
still
a lot.
doing it, and you played the Beacon Theater?
No, no, in Beacon, New York. It was
Beacon, New
up
York. Oh, that's a nice
north,
town.
the Town Crier, really beautiful venue, and it was really fun. It was 2 nights in a row.
Mm,
My voice is a little sore, but
that's okay.
it was worth it.
And then you came back, what, with the 91, a place I've never been. You have like Richard Thompson on it. What, Roger McGuinn?
Yeah,
Wow. Just a,
Richard McGuinn, Wicks from Paul McCartney's band played keyboards on it, and
okay.
what's the Paul's guitar player at the time? I can't remember his name. Paul. He was in the Pretenders for a while. Can't remember his McIntosh. Robbie McIntosh.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Robbie McIntosh, great guitar player. He played on the album. Loudon Wainwright played on the album, The Roche Sisters. And I
Mm,
mean, having Richard Thompson barefoot in the back of the studio, he said, "Just give me a Stratocaster and a certain amplifier." And he came and stayed all day and played magically. Yeah,
yeah, I was mentioning before off camera here about seeing you with Richard Thompson in
Mount
Northern New
Tabor,
beautiful venue.
yeah, great venue.
That was great. And Richard, as usual, was his amazing self.
Yeah,
But so
yeah.
that was so you got a lot of help from artists. Did you start touring again after that? Did that?
Well, I signed. Let's see, I signed to Columbia in '88. Put a record out in '91. And I waited for the guy who signed me, the producer, Rick Chertoff. I wanted him to produce the record. But he says, well, I got to do a couple records first. So it took 2 years.
Mm,
And after 2 years, he gets bumped up to they didn't want him in the studio. They wanted him to run the A&R department. So we had to look for another producer and found T-Bone Woke, the bass player on Saturday Night Live. And had great fun making the record. Stuart Lerman, my current the guy's been making all my records since then.
mm.
Since 2009, he finished it with me. And I did some touring behind that, and put an EP out in '92, and uh, and then I put out an album called Streets of New York in
I've heard of that one.
2006. Yeah, and we had a great time making it. Andy York, Rich Pagano, Brad Albetta.
Mm.
It's a really good record, and yeah. So I've been making records coming and going, and then started putting them out on my own label. And the end of '99, like 2000, I put the beautiful record of the world. Put that
That
out.
that got a lot of really highly acclaimed record.
It put me back on the map in '99. And 2006, when Streets of New York came out in a Buddy's record, a label,
Mm.
and that really put me on the map. And well, at least put me back on the map enough. And then from 2009, I made 9 albums on my own label from 2009 to 21.
Wow, that's prolific.
Yeah, 9 studio albums, and
Mm.
really proud of them. And now with the new album, The Great Yellow Light, I'm really, you know, my goal was never to become famous and some icon bullshit.
Yeah,
Um, I'm fine with money. Thinking rich, I'm okay with, but not fi by fine with money. I mean, I'm welcome to it. If it wants to knock on my
yeah.
door, I'll answer. But being famous was never. I love music. It's inspiring to me. That's why I do it. Passionate about it.
That's the key. You just said it right there. Passion.
It's about passion.
Yeah,
Even though I'm older, I still feel it. I'm still driven and passionate about the songs when I play, and I'm so lucky that way. Knock on wood,
yeah.
I still have my health. I'm in good health, and having more fun now than ever. So
Mm.
I'm a lucky dude.
Now, what about the shows with Bruce at the Giant Stadium? I got to ask you about that. What was that like?
So in let's see, 2003, I think it was. I played Shea Stadium with Bruce. I went to see him play a gig outside of Buffalo, at Darien Lake, and went backstage to say hello. And I had my kids with me and stuff and family. And He said, "Hey, you want to play Glory Days?" We were talking backstage, and I thought he was kidding.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking, I don't think he's kidding. He said, yeah, sure. So, I played Glory Days with him, and it was really fun. I mean, play with the E Street Band, come on.
Ah,
So, about a month later, he was finishing the tour in 2003 at Shea Stadium, and I went
hmm.
backstage. I went backstage before the show to thank him. Thanks for having me up. And he sees me and he goes, "Hey, come on, want to sing Twist and Shout with Gary Bonds?" And so next thing I know, I'm on stage with Bruce for half an hour at the end of that show at
Oh
at,
my gosh.
at Shea Stadium, and we're singing Twist and Shout. I'm on mic with Little Steven, and it dawned on me, hey, the Beatles played this song. The Beatles
Yeah.
played here at Shea Stadium. Anyway, Bruce has been always so good to me, very welcoming, and he plays with my band. He calls me on stage here and there. And anyway, so in 2000, when did Giant Stadium close? In 2011? I can't
Something
remember.
around there.
In 2009, I forget. Anyway, they invited me to come and join them on stage at Giant Stadium. It was the last five shows. They were closing the
Oh,
stage,
wow. That's great.
and I was very fortunate to have. He had one guest all during those 5 days on one of the shows, and it was me, and it was so much fun. It's always so much fun to play with Bruce. There was 70,000 people going crazy. I mean, Bruce audiences are Bruce audiences.
Oh, they
Anybody,
are.
anybody who's been to a Bruce show knows that it's party time, and it was deafening. The noise was deafening, and I was going to play one song with him, and I went up there and we're playing the song. And I forget what the song was, and it was really fun. Off I go. He thanked me. And then I hear I was off the side of the stage, and people are looking for me. He's calling for me to come back on stage. Let's get
Hmm.
Willie, let's get Willie back up here. So up I go, and we played another song or two. And what's funny about that? It was totally great. I mean, Bruce, I love him dearly. He's a real brother, and treats the people whose music he respects with a lot of graciousness, and he's been very generous with uh, uh, joining my band to play, a
Yeah.
bunch of times. Anyway, so I go back on stage, and it was one of those moments, when Bruce and the band all comes towards the front of the stage. And so I'm there, I'm going too. So up, go to the front of the stage. I'm right at the front.
That is something.
I got my front of this, and this woman's looking up going, who is that? Thinking,
There
who's that guy? I looked and I went,
you go.
it
Oh,
was
that's great.
great, great fun. And over the years, like there's this organization called Light of Day, lightofday.org. And our buddy Bob Benjamin started it when he got diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Hmm.
That money raises money to find a cure for Parkinson's, ALS, and PSP.
Yeah. Huh.
We just had our 25th anniversary at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank in January. They're always great shows. Bruce has come to like a little more than half of those shows to play,
That is great.
and we've raised over $7 million towards finding a cure for Parkinson's and ALS and PSP. That's a good thing.
That is.
That's giving back.
Yes.
So many of us, we know people have afflicted with that terrible disease. And Bruce came again this year in January, and it was great. And he was so nice. I said, "You want to join us for one guitar?" And he goes, "Yeah, man." So he came out. There's a video at YouTube of
Okay. Got to
you,
check that out.
you look at Willie Nile and Bruce Springsteen, uh, one guitar in January.
Hmm.
We had a great time. He's done that. I mean, every year he comes, he'll join me for a song. So he's a very generous guy, and I love him dearly and treasure my relationship with him.
That is fantastic. And now you did a Bob Dylan record, right?
Oh
How
yeah,
about that? That's another.
I never ever thought I would do something like that, because I,
Oh,
I I record my own songs.
yeah.
When he had his 75th birthday, which was I don't know maybe 7 8 years ago, I got a phone call from the people at City Winery here in New York saying, "Hey, we're doing an acoustic Bob Dylan birthday party. Would you come and close the show?" And I said, "Well, let me think about it. I don't just if I can add something or bring something to the table, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know." And so I looked over the song list that night, and I picked four songs out and went to did the gig. It was so much fun playing them. You know, Rainy Day Women, Hard Rains Are Gonna Fall,
Yeah.
um, You Ain't Going Nowhere, and Love Minus Zero, No Limit. And it was so much fun, and the response from the audience was so good. I thought, man, I never, these songs are so good. Like a song like Love Minus Zero, No Limit. You won't hear that on the radio.
No, you're
It's a
right.
stunning love song. So that really was the impetus for me. I thought, you know what? If I do six more of these, I got an album. So
Yeah.
we did it in 2 days. I went in with a band. James Maddock played guitar. Matt
Oh,
Hogan.
I love him. He's great.
James is great.
He
Johnny,
is.
Johnny Paisano, Aaron Comez from the Spin Doctors played on it, and 2 days, boom, boom, and we knocked it out. It was so much fun, and we did. I just thought some of the songs, like "Blowing in the Wind," we did kind of like the Ramones because
Hmm.
it was fun. And "Hard Rains Are Gonna Fall." I thought, well, what if we do it like Bolero? Boom, 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 Anyway, it was just a joyful experience to do that. I wanted to give the songs, just another rendering. They're so great. Every song on the album is a masterpiece. Bob's so great. So yeah, that came out, did really well. It was fun doing it. You
Well,
know.
that's the main thing. You did it at your own version. That helped. That's a big deal because
Oh yeah,
you don't want to play exactly like Bob did. You want to give it your own touch of what you feel like the song should be.
songs are all so good. I had fun doing it. It was great fun.
So you did also Children of Paradise. Talk about that record a little bit.
Children of Paradise. There's a French film called Children of Paradise, Les Enfants du Paradis
Hmm,
in the French. It came out in 1946, black and white. It's generally referred to as the Gone with the Wind of art films.
hmm.
And they say it's Bob Dylan's favorite movie. I don't know that, but I've read that. It's a great movie. I saw it when I was in college, and
Okay.
that inspired the song. And so I put a collection of songs together. When I have like three or four or five songs that are core of an album, I think there's an album here. And I'll write around that songs that fit in some way. And I think it was 2019 that came out. And I love that. I've been playing that song lately at all the shows, Children of Paradise. I love that record and love that
Yeah.
song.
I have to listen to that because yeah, that got high reviews too. All your records have you write all the lyrics too, right? To all your songs?
Yeah, yeah, I write the songs, Dennis, and they get a lot of uh, uh, great reviews, but I think that's because people have no taste. That's what I think. I think
Yeah.
people have no taste, so they praise my records. What are you
Not
going to
these days,
do?
Not these days. So
Yeah,
do you write the lyrics first or does the music come first with your music, with your
it
songwriting?
varies. It varies, Dennis. All of the above. Sometimes the words, sometimes the music, sometimes at the same time. Sometimes it could be a chorus, a phrase. Like on this record, as like an Irish goodbye that started with the title. You know,
Okay.
Wild Wild World started with a chorus. I was playing the guitar and just came to me. So
Hmm.
it comes every which way, but I don't sit down to write. I just wait till I'm inspired.
Hmm.
It might come in a dream. I might come and walking down the street or in a dream or whatever, sitting playing the guitar. But
So
the songs are still coming. Very
that's
grateful for
great.
that.
That's the main thing. Now you wrote a couple records recently with New York is the title, right? New York at Night, Streets of New York. So you've been really influenced by the city, right?
Very much so. You know, I went to the University of Buffalo, got a degree in philosophy, but New York City, I've been here 53 years, and it's still teaching me stuff. I mean, New York City's there's rich, there's poor, everything in between, the good, the bad,
Yeah,
and the good, the bad, and the ugly.
that's right.
And as a writer, it's a really interesting place to be because there's songs walking all over the place. The
Oh
sidewalk,
yeah, it is.
sidewalk scream songs out, and I love it. It's a 24 hours, it's 24/7
Never
city,
stops, right?
and I like that about it. I love it. And Streets of New York is a song I wrote and just put in my piano bench back in 2005.
Hmm.
And a buddy was over a month later, and we were talking. I said, "Oh, I just wrote this song. what do you think? And he said, that's the best song I ever heard you do.
Hmm.
So I thought, oh, and I centered an album around that because all those songs on that album all inspired by New York. It's not a
Hmm.
concept. It's not a concept record by any means, but the songs were inspired by here. And New York at Night, same thing. That song was inspired by.
That's a
Uh,
good song.
thank you,
I've
thank you,
listened to that one. That's very good.
thank you. Yeah, New York inspires me, and sometimes they make their way into songs. Yeah,
How was it at playing at Daryl's house? Did you get to meet Daryl Hall at all?
it's great. Yes, Daryl there's a great club up in what town
Is
is
that
it?
in Pennsylvania or New
No, no,
York?
no. It's upstate.
Okay.
It's due north. It's not Beacon. It's maybe it'll come to me. It's near Beacon and Paulding, New York.
Okay.
A great club. The sound system. I mean, he does his TV shows from there. And the guy who runs it, the sound is just a. He was Daryl's sound guy for years and years,
Is
and
that the guy that plays guitar in his band? Or is that
uh,
somebody else? Okay.
someone else. But Peter's this great uh, sound man. So the sound there is great. Food is great. It's a great vibe.
Hmm.
It's Daryl Hall. So if he's gonna have a place, he's gonna have a nice joint.
Of course.
We played there last year. I've recorded a number of shows there, and we put
Okay.
a live record out last year, live from Daryl's House Club. It's a great venue to play, and a great venue to see somebody at for an audience.
It looks like it. I mean, really, I've seen some of the TV shows,
Yeah.
and these guys are all having a great time. Looks like they don't practice that much. These guys just everybody just plays and they just click.
He gets some great players. At one time we played there, and there's a picture I mentioned T-Bone Woke before, who uh, was hired to produce my Columbia record in 1991, 1990. And T-Bone was the bass player for Saturday Night Live for years. He had the big hat on, the cowboy hat. And T-Bone passed away, I think it's over 10 years now at this point. I forget. It's been a long while. And he was really close with Daryl. They toured together for years. And at the club on the wall, to the left of the stage, there's a beautiful photograph of T-Bone.
Oh, okay.
And I love and I'll miss him all my days. And
Hmm.
so doing sound check, I'm looking up and just grateful seeing that picture there, and I got a lot of great iconic things hanging around the walls. So uh, we finished sound check. After sound check, someone said Daryl's out there. So I went out.
Oh,
I went. He was in the corner. I went and I said, "For Daryl, thanks so much for having this picture of T. I know they were really like brothers. Thanks for having that great picture of T-Bone. God bless him." We had a
yeah.
short chat. It was fun talking to him. I mean, what a great soul singer he is. And
Oh, he's an icon, in modern music history. I mean, all those great songs.
all those great songs. And so he was really nice. And so we started playing. I'm told he doesn't go to too many shows there, and if he does, he doesn't stay long. And he stayed all night, and we hung out after. He couldn't have been
Hmm.
nicer. And like 3 songs in, I pointed out to the audience, "There's a photo over here on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
Absolute master musician, T-Bone Woke, and my dear friend." And next thing you know, Daryl runs up on stage. You know,
Hmm.
Make a note of this for something. Daryl
And
runs up on stage, and
hmm,
uh,
that's something. And did he
he came
start
up on
playing?
stage. No, he came up on stage. He went to the microphone, put his arm around me. He goes, I just want you people to know that this is the real shit. This is the real. He was so nice, very passionate, and I mean, it was an honor to have him there, and always an honor to play his club. If anybody's in that neck of the woods, there's always somebody. It's good. It's a great joint to see music.
Now, I want to ask you about a few celebrity musicians that you played with. Ringo Starr.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
What happened with that?
In 1992, on a Saturday, on a Friday night, I don't know. I forget what got me there. I was at Radio City. Ringo was playing there. Somebody introduced me to him. I can't remember what I was even doing
Hmm.
there. I didn't go to the show, but I was there beforehand. And Saturday, I get a phone call. The guy opening for Ringo is sick. Could you fill in on Monday at Jones Beach? We're talking 1992.
Mm.
And I called my guys, so we went out. Yeah, we went out to Jones Beach in Long Island, and we're backstage waiting, hanging out. And the bus comes in with Ringo, Dave Edmunds, Joe Walsh,
Oh my gosh.
Nils Lofgren, Timothy B. Schmidt of the Eagles, Todd Lundgren,
Oh my gosh. Who's
Ringo,
who?
Zach Starkey, and I think Burton Cummings is on that too as well. And
Oh,
I mean, Dave Edmunds. I mean, all these
oh,
people.
yeah. Come
And
on. Guy's fantastic.
Nils is a good buddy, and Nils is one of the sweetest guys you're ever going to meet. Anyway, long story short, um, Ringo comes walking up. He sees me, walks over, goes, "Are you Willie?" Yeah. He shakes my hand, and he looks. My guys are behind me. He goes, "Are these the lads then?" And
The
everybody's
lads. Thinks he's in Liverpool still, right?
right. So we did the show, and it went really well. It was packed house, and Ringo loved it. And they asked us if we would do. So we did another half a dozen shows or so
Oh, wow.
in the Northeast. And I mean, it was madness. Whenever to see that up close, whenever Ringo would walk into a room of any size, big ones, every eyeball,
Oh, imagine a Beatle,
Beatle, and he handled it. He handled it really well. And it was great to hear him play last night of the tour. This is what a classic guy he is. So we open up, and he's on stage. This is last night in Saratoga. I'm on the side of the stage, but not near where he comes off, about 30 feet away. And does the song Photograph. But all
Oh, I
I've got
love that
is a
song.
photograph, the song him and George wrote about John Lennon. And he sees me over there. He comes walking right over to me. He still got
Hmm.
encores to do. Place is going crazy, cheering. He walks over to me, shakes my hand, gives me a big hug. He says, "Willie, thank you so much. You did a great job." He's in the middle of the show. He took the time out to thank me.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm the baby Jesus with the rock.
Yeah.
He couldn't have been nicer. It was really humbling, and gave me a big hug. And he said, "You want to come and sing? I get by with a little help from my friends." And I went, uh, "Yeah, let me get my coat." So I went out,
Jeez.
got to sing "I Get By with a Little Help from My Friends" with Ringo. It was unbelievable.
And then Tori Amos too. I mean, what a talent she is.
Yeah, yeah. Another, you know what? Same story. I'm in New York. I get a phone call.
Hmm.
I might have been the same day or the day before. Somebody got sick, and I get a phone call from Ron Delsner's office, the promoter. Could you fill in tomorrow night at Town Hall?
Town
Sure.
Hall. Wow.
So I get my acoustic guitar, up I go, and it's a great hall because the upstairs balcony is close, and the sound is for especially an acoustic instrument, a small, it can be great. So I went out there and I had my fun. I tend to have a good time when I play, and I did. And after the show, they said the next night they played in Philadelphia, and apparently Tori said to her manager, "Can we get Willie back, the guy that opened up in New York?" Because when I left the stage in New York, they were cheering, they were upbeat, and she liked walking out to a crowd that was so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And so we got a call. I opened up a number more shows for her, and it
Wow.
was an honor and a pleasure. As well.
Was she a down to earth? Did she seem pretty easy to deal with?
Very much. Oh yeah, she's very much an artist. Very nice. Very personable. Put a great show on. Soul of woman. Strong, strong woman.
A few more I want to hear about. Elvis Costello. Did you work with him?
Elvis, I did. I opened up for Elvis for something he did for MTV, and I've met him a number of times. Over the years, he's always been really nice. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
a huge Elvis Costello fan.
Oh, great music.
I first met him. Oh yeah, I first met him. I used to go to CBGB's all the time. Back in the day, the '70s, and I was there when Elvis came for the first time. He was being shown around, and I met him that night. And I mean, Elvis is the best. I love him. And every time I meet him, he's very kind, great storyteller. You know, I went once. Ray Davies of the Kinks did a solo, was a duo show. It was like the very first. Remember on MTV they had storytellers. There was
Oh,
a.
yeah. That was a good show.
I went to the
Yep.
very first one. It was inspired by a Ray Davies show he did in New York City years ago.
Hmm.
And I was there, and I was sitting in the third row, right in front of Elvis Costello. And we, with a buddy, my buddy, we all went out for dinner after. And I was sitting next to, Ray and Elvis and hearing them tell stories. Fascinating.
I imagine.
Ray used to go see Elvis's father. I think Elvis, I'm trying to remember who had the band. Ray's father had a big band, or Elvis's father, and the other one would go see them play. But so great. Talk about great songwriters. Ray
Oh,
Davis,
yeah.
Ray Davis and Elvis Costello. Man, oh man.
Oh, the top of the line. I
The thing
know.
is, the thing is,
Yes.
these
Go
people
ahead.
were these people we're talking about. If you'd have told me when I was this kid from Buffalo, coming to New York City, hoping to make a record, you know, that I would have gotten to do all these things and meet these people, these legends, these brilliant, interesting people. If you told me that, I would have thought you were nuts. But touring with the Who, Ringo, Richard Thompson, all this stuff. I played with the Who.
Well,
That
that is amazing. I didn't know that till I looked up your biography. I said, holy smoke, the Who
no,
tour.
in 2015, 2016, Music Cares was honoring Pete Townsend and Bill Curbishley. I got a phone call from my booking agent saying, "Hey, what are you doing on May 28th?" I'll never forget it. I'm here. And he said, because the Grammys just called. They're honoring Pete Townsend and Bill Curbishley. And they want five artists to sing two Pete Townsend songs. They had Bruce Springsteen, Roger Daltrey, Joan Jett, Billy Idol, and what's wrong with this picture? Me. And I got invited to do that. And I sang, I know I sang Substitute, maybe the kids are all right, with the Who. You
Oh
know,
my gosh.
I mean, with our band. Pete, we played later. We closed the show with Won't Get Fooled Again. There's a great clip. If you Google Won't Get Fooled Again,
I got to check that out.
Bruce
Yeah.
Springsteen and Pete Town and the Who, because one time you play with them. We do a version at the very end of Won't Get Fooled Again. Are you kidding me? I'm always one that says, believe in your dreams. You just never know where they're going to take you. I had no idea any of this would have happened.
Well, you're in the right place at the right time. You're in that A list of players already. So, and the managers too. That probably management companies, right? That had to help too, right? To get these kind of gigs at first.
Whatever kind of combination it is, it's.
Yeah, it is.
I think just follow your dreams, believe in what you're doing. Like
Mm,
I'm not kidding. I mean it. My songs, they mean something to me. You know,
yes,
you can
I
tell,
hear that.
you can hear it. I mean, I care about these songs. Like this record,
Yes, you do. Is that the new one, right?
Red Yellow Light. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Let's talk about that while you have it up.
I mean, look at this guy in the back. I mean, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Fire Eater.
Yeah, I see that.
My wife Christina Aragoni took this photo at
That
a
is
circus.
wild.
Great photo, and the Great Yellow Light. It's for me. It's about moments of awe and wonder. And
Mm.
there's so much darkness in the world right now.
Oh, I
It's
know.
such a divided country. It's so
It
sad.
is. It is. It is sad.
It's so sad. So I'm hope I hope this can put a little bit of light. It's a feel good record. It's it's wide ranging, but it's an upbeat, feel good. Hopefully, sharing some light and all this darkness because
Now,
refuse
who's on the record on this current record?
a lot of great cast of characters. Steve Earle sings on a song called "Wake Up America." Steve lived around the corner from me for 15 years. We became
Hmm.
friends. Having his street voice on there.
Oh yeah, he's a legend.
The Hooters, Rob Hyman and Eric Bazillion from Philadelphia. Rob is on 6 songs playing keyboards, accordion. Eric's on 2 songs playing guitar and singing. And uh, Waddy Wachtel, legendary LA session man. Well, first of all, it's my band. It's Johnny Paisano on bass, Jimmy Bones on lead guitar, and John Weber on drums. That's the core band.
Okay,
And James Maddox sings backgrounds on most of the songs. One of the great songwriters and the
I
planet.
love him. Yeah, I've seen him a number of times.
One of the greats.
He is good.
And Paul Brady sings on Irish Goodbye. Paul Brady's this legendary, iconic Irish singer. And
Mm.
when we were in the studio recording an Irish Goodbye, my co-producer Stuart Lerman said, "What about asking Paul Brady?" I said, "Do you know Paul?" "Oh yeah, best friend, good buddies." And Paul recorded it in Dublin, sent it back to us in 2 days, and it's a great honor to have. He's an iconic Irish singer-songwriter. And who else is on this? David Massey, legendary multi-instrumentalist.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's and Black 47. Black 47 is a Irish punk band from 80s. Great band. Larry Kerwin, Chris Byrne, and Fred Parcells. Three of them played on the song "An Irish Goodbye." Really an honor. I'm having dinner with Larry tonight. In fact, I can't wait. Can't wait to see him. So it's a team effort. I didn't make it by
Mm.
myself. I wrote the songs. Co-wrote them a couple of the songs with some buddies, but like most of them I wrote. And but it's a team effort to get the album to sound the way it sounds. And
Now, this is put out by your own label again,
House Records, that's me, man.
and you're able to get all these artists together. That is really phenomenal.
I'm very lucky, Dennis. That's all. I'm a lucky dude. You
Well,
know.
you've been around a long time. You've got a great reputation. You're a great songwriter, and you keep doing it. You're still, still playing, still active in music.
So I'm more active than I've ever been. Really.
Wow, that's great.
I'm
That's
going
the
to
most important thing. You keep,
going to Italy. I'm too busy now, but I mean I'm doing a lot of shows. I'm going to Italy a few weeks. I'm going to see Bruce in Milan. Can't wait
oh,
to
you
see.
are. He's going to what? He'll be playing in Milan?
Oh yeah, the last two shows of the tour in Milan. I can't wait.
Fantastic.
Can't wait. So I mean, as I said before, there's something to be said for believing in your dreams. You never know where they'll take you.
You lived them. I mean, have you ever
Still,
thought of writing a book about all this?
I started making some notes. I've got lots of. I've got a Word file with lots of notes. All I need is a first line or two, and I know what the story is.
Mm,
There's a guy making a documentary about me. Started
yeah.
about some years back, and so the energy's gone into that. I mean, depending on how long I live, but I'm so busy now, I wouldn't have time to do it.
Mm,
And but there's a documentary being made, so hopefully it's good when it's done, and
that's the main thing.
I don't look like too much of a fool.
But you still have the passion for the music. That's what I
Oh yeah,
love to hear. You have people playing music, they don't have the passion, they're doing it, and they really don't have that. It's not worth doing it.
I'm not here to show off. I'm not here to become some big shot. That has no interest whatsoever. I want to make a living. I
Yeah.
mean, up and down. So a lot of years of struggle. The '80s were tough when I walked away. I had four kids to raise on fumes.
Wow.
And but I've been doing it for years now. I get to go to Europe a few times a year to perform. Great playing in Europe, great playing in the States.
So you get a lot of shows in Europe? You have
Oh,
a following there?
got a good following in Europe, and I just came back from the West Coast. I'm going to tomorrow. I'm flying to the Midwest. I got shows in the Midwest, so I've never been busier,
Hmm.
and never having more fun. I mean, I'm knock on wood. I'm
And
still
then you put this out on vinyl also, your music?
hell yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Vinyl rocks. So it's on CD, it's on vinyl, it's on any streaming site, wherever you get music. The album, The Great Yellow Light, is
Okay.
you can find it.
It's so hard for younger musicians though to come up these days.
Yeah,
Really, it's just music's turned into like this entertainment genre now as opposed to uh, music unless you've been around or people know you. It's really difficult.
very difficult. With the internet's helpful because you can break out here and there, but it's a long shot. The recording industry is not what it was when they were looking for talent and fostering talent.
Right.
The major labels were signing artists to multiple deals. Taking a chance for. They say it takes about three records. I think Springsteen, Billy Joel is a bunch
Yeah,
of artists didn't break till the third record.
that's right.
Nowadays, they don't have the patience for that, but things change. There's ebbs and flows.
Yeah, I believe that.
Any artist, I would say, make use of the internet, make your music, make your sound. I had a great professor once at the University of Buffalo, and the last day of
Mm,
class it was an English class, it was a Walt Whitman poetry class, and he's talking to the kids. I was just sitting in on the class. I had graduated years before. Long story short, I knew the guy, so I was sitting in, and he told the kids, "Look," he says, "if you have something to say, write it, even if it's on a napkin. Somebody will find it."
Hmm,
It's a great attitude.
it
So
is.
music, there's no magic potion, you know. Like Bruce is a good example. He put the hard work in, you know,
Yes.
slept on floors, traveled across the country in rickety old vehicles, played the shows,
That's
thousands,
right.
thousands. You know, just give it your all. If you're interested, follow your dreams and give everything you got.
That's all you can do. And now with the internet, people eventually find you if they're looking for music, certain type of styles. That's what's nice about the internet. And I'm
Yeah,
not that worried about AI that much because people are still going to want to go out to live shows. They're still
yeah.
going to want to see live music. And I think, unfortunately, it's here, but I still think people are going to be able to distinguish what's real. People are actually recording and what's fabricated, I think.
Well, you know, there's always going to be some kid with a burr in his saddle,
Yep,
with something to say,
I believe that.
male or female, you know, both.
Yep.
And some original music, an original idea. It ebbs and flows. So whatever happens, you got to roll with it, you know.
So where can we find your music now? How can we just on normal major sites?
If you go to, I mean, the music's in all, you know, places you can buy music,
Right.
streaming sites, Amazon. If you go
Okay.
to if you go to willienile.com, WILLIENILE.com,
Okay.
there's links to all our social media. We've got a good presence on social media, and I'm findable. Go to YouTube and put my name in. Especially look at that clip with Springsteen,
I got to go to that.
Bruce Springsteen and me, and singing one guitar in January.
That's amazing.
And also the Who. There's a Who clip with Bruce and the Who and me and Billy
Hmm.
Idol singing "Won't Get Fooled Again." I mean, who does that?
Yeah, sometimes you got to wake up and say, "Wow, that's me on stage, right?" With Pete Townsend.
I wake up every day.
Man,
I wake up every day and say, "What?"
well, you got the talent though, Willie. So don't take that off from you too. You've got a lot of talent. So they know it. These big stars.
I'm persistent. I'll say that much.
That yes, you are. Well, listen, this has been a real treat, and I want to thank Howard for setting this up.
Thank you, Dennis.
He did a great job. Uh,
Howard's a
talk.
good man.
He is. He
Thanks
is.
to
This is like
Howard.
the third interview that he set up.
Well,
And
thank you for taking the time.